Hi, everybody. This is Lorraine Tierney with Chat and Craft with Lorraine. If we haven't met before, I'm so happy you're here and I'm glad you're joining us to watch a little demonstration tonight. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I live in a small town in New Hampshire called Warner, New Hampshire. I just love it here. We have snow on the ground and we're going to get some more snow tomorrow, and we're not quite as cold as the Midwest, so that's good too. Today we are going to play with the Enduring Beauty bundle and masks. And I am in love with this set, and I have to tell you, I was not an early adopter of this style of masks. I really didn't get the ones when they had them with the sunflower, but I love these. Love, love, love them. So I think you're going to love them too. Please say hi as you jump in. And if you're new to watching me, I'd love to know where you're watching me from. Okay, so we are going to get started. Let me switch my camera over here. We'll do this. Okay, so I have my piece of paper. It's just 5 1/4 by 4, and it's just tacked down with a little bit of blue painter's tape. You could use washi tape, you could use masking paper, but I just used a little bit of painter's tape. So this is the stamp set that we're going to use. It's called Enduring Beauty, and I absolutely love this big flower. I also love the sentiments. The bundle comes with dies. This cuts out the big flower, and then there's leaves and flowers and a die that cuts out the sentiment. I can show you quickly some of the other cards I've made with this. I've been having a lot of fun with it. This is the large stamp just done in white embossing on Misty Moonlight. That's a simple card. This is the one I posted last week. This is done with the masks, and it's on a piece of specialty vellum. Those leaves are printed on specialty vellum. This is another one done with the masks, and that's just on a piece of old olive. This is one that's done on vellum, and the vellum is colored on the underside with blends. And then here's one that I embossed in black embossing powder, and it's a gatefold card underneath. So there's a few other ones that I made with it. But tonight we're going to use the masks, and we're going to use the colors Moody Mauve and Lost Lagoon. I seem to be on a Moody Mauve kick a little bit. And Pebbled Path. I also love Pebbled Path. So I'm going to ink this stamp up with Petal Path. And I have the stamp on here pretty intentionally, like pretty much straight up and down with these two leaves to make it fit on the mask properly. So with a big stamp, I always put the stamp down and tap the ink pad on top. Now I'm going to use Pebbled Path. It's a dark neutral, but it's not quite as dark as using the black ink. So I like that. And I'm going to try to get this pretty straight up and down. And give it a really good push, especially to get the middle down on that. And there you go. You get a great image with that. Now the masks come with this bundle, or you can buy the masks separately. Enduring Beauty decorative masks. There are 5 of them. And I just realized I did not put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Hopefully it will not disturb. I don't know how to do it from my computer. Okay, so the masks are numbered. This is number 1. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. That's number 1, and it has a little notch on the top. So I'm going to lay this mask on top, and it's going to outline just the flowers for me. But before I do anything, I'm going to mark that notch because then I'm going to know that the other masks are going to line up the same way. And I'm going to just put a little piece of my painter's tape, just one piece right there to hold that. So these are flowers, so I'm going to start with the mauve color for the flowers. So I have a blending brush, and I like to use my microfiber cloth, and I just get any extra color off. I'm going to swirl this in here, tap off just a little bit. Now this is the first layer of color with the mask, so I'm just going to go lightly with this because we're going to layer more and more color on top here. But we're just doing it a little bit at a time. I think you can see that color a little bit. So now I'm going to lift this mask off. I can reuse my tape. And now I'm going to get mask number 2. And the notch is in the same orientation, top left. And now this is going to outline, I see I've got my stamp under, my tape under there a little bit. This is going to outline just the flowers. I mean, just the leaves. Oh boy, I'm looking at leaves and saying flowers. I've got a lump under here. I have to take that piece of tape out. It was lumpy. Okay, now I can get this lined up in the same notch. And I'm going to switch to the Lost Lagoon ink for, whoops, almost took the wrong blending brush, the Lost Lagoon ink for the leaves. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lightly do a circular motion over the open parts. Whatever's open, that's what I'm coloring in. I just shifted my mask a little bit, but it will be okay. There you go. So there's the Lost Lagoon first coat on the leaves. That's already looking very pretty. Next comes number 3. And number 3 is going to add some detail to the flowers. Okay. And it's just exposing bits and pieces of the flowers, not the whole thing. So it's going to add a little bit of a darker layer to the flowers. So I'm going to swirl in these. And these are a little bit smaller openings. So I'm going over them a few times. Make sure I get some ink in there. And then we'll peel that one off. So there's the next layer of color. And now I'm going to do a little bit of green. This is going to give me some darker areas on green. And this has a little piece that I sometimes bump into here. So I'm going to be very careful going over that piece. Okay. And now I'm adding some Lost Lagoon in the open areas, and it's getting the stems And it's adding a little color to where the lines on the leaves would be. Okay, and we're going to lift that one up. I may go back to that first layer again and add a little more color, but I can do that because I'll be able to line it up. I may have gone too light, but first we're going to do number 5, and this is the last one. I want to get the green out of the way and get my Moody Mauve. And we're just going to add a little color. This is going right into the center of the flowers. And let's see. I feel like it's a little bit light on that first layer, just a little. So I'm going to get number 1. I'm going to put it back on here. Now, I've never done this before, so I'm hoping it's going to work. I'm just going to add a little bit more color. I just feel like there was a little bit too much contrast between the light and the dark. It's always better to add more, as you can't take it off if you had put too much on. Oh, I like that better. I like that better. So let's see if I can pick this up and show you this a little bit closer. Okay, so there's your colored flowers. Isn't that beautiful? It's shaded for you. All the hard work is done, and you're not getting ink all over the place. You don't have to figure out what colors of ink to use together. You start with one shade, it's lighter, and you keep adding to it. So we're going to trim this down just a little bit. We are going to make it a card. I could cut it out, but I'm not going to cut on this one. I'm going to leave it on the card base, but I am going to cut it to 3 3/4 by 5. I think I'll do 1/8 off of each end here. And then you're going to have to help me figure out what colors to layer this on. Okay, so I have 2 card bases here. As you might imagine, I have the Moody Mauve and Lost Lagoon, and I think we need a mat around it. We could do a Pebbled Path mat. You get some Pebbled Path. My friend Joanne would probably say a black mat. Here is Pebbled Path. That might be a little bit big. I'll check that measurement in a minute. But there it is on Pebbled Path and then Moody Mauve. Or we can do Pebbled Path and Lost Lagoon. I think I know which one I like better for a card base. We could also, I think I like the Lost Lagoon card base. I don't know, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Tell me which card base you like better. And I'm going to cut a Moody Mauve piece. I don't know if this is too matchy, using the Moody Mauve on the Lost Lagoon. I'm going to cut it down so it's only 1/8 of an inch. Is this what you guys do? Do you keep adjusting and second guessing yourself? Always looking for the better one? So just a hint of the Moody Mauve. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. What do you think on the Lost Lagoon? A hint of Moody Mauve on the Lost Lagoon. Let's get that. I'm going to glue these two, and we might need a bit of something around that. Maybe a little ribbon, a little twine. I don't know. A little something. I have a sentiment. I don't know, that kind of covers up some of my flower. Maybe we'll have to put that on the inside because I don't want to cover up my flower. And what do you think? Is the jute gonna work on here? I was gonna try to separate out a piece of the jute so that it's not so heavy. But I don't know, we might be here for a while to do this. Are there any tricks to doing this? Does anybody know? I feel like I might be making a mess. It is coming. I have a Moody Mauve ribbon, but that also is very, yeah, that's not going to work. That's going to take me forever, and I've now got fibers everywhere. I could, well, let me see. I could kind of, if we do a sentiment, I could use this just kind of looped behind a sentiment a little bit. Sentiment or no sentiment? What do you think? Let's get, we could put it like that. I could stamp on the inside. I think we'll put the sentiment on the inside. I don't think I want to cover up so much of that. So I'm going to get this straight on my grid paper. Whoops. And then pick it up. And I'm going to use the pebbled path. A smaller sentiment, Martha? Yeah, it would have to be really small. Maybe one of the Sending Smiles sentiments. Let me see what that one has. Those are much smaller. We could do something like love and big hugs. Let's get this straight. I could put a love and big hugs there on a skinny piece of white. We all have lots of these 1/2-inch pieces. There is a die that cuts this out. Do I want love and big hugs on the front? Let's cut it out quickly and we'll see. I see some votes for the sentiment inside. I know it's hard to cover up part of that flower. It's just so pretty. All right. Love and big hugs. This is my last ditch effort for sentiment on the front. I'm going to wrap some jute around here and try to tie a bow. Let's see if I can do it. This stuff sheds. I think that's too hairy looking for a cute card. I'm going to leave that alone. No sentiment on the outside. We're going to put, oh, I didn't glue it down yet. We're going to put this one on the inside. We do need a little bit of bling, and then we'll call it done. I love Lost Lagoon. It's such a pretty color. Okay, let's put this on. And then I've been liking putting some embellishments right in the center of those flowers. It really seems to pop the flowers with those right in the center. So I could do, these are in color dots, or the pearls. Let's see the pearls. And Sherry thinks maybe a sentiment up here. Love and big hugs. I don't want to have it floating out in space too much, but I could put that up there. What do you think? Sentiment at the top or not? So I'm going to put a couple of pearls on here, and we'll see if we like these or not. I always go with the smaller size. I'm just going to set those ever so slightly in there. I'm not really pressing them on. There's a small one, and there's a bigger one. I'm going to go with the smaller ones. That's my gut. My go-to is the smaller ones. And one more. You guys like that sentiment on top? Love and big hugs. All right, I'm going to cut it off a little bit so I can make it go straight with the edge of the card. And we'll just put a little bit of glue on that. Good idea, Sherry, good idea. All right, I have to bring this a little bit closer to me to make sure that I'm getting that as straight as I can. There we go. Love and big hugs. I'm going to push those on. And then we have some pearls in the center. So that's how easy it is to use those masks. It works up quickly. It's fun. You really can't make a mistake. It lines everything up for you. It does all the shading for you. It's really, really an easy way to do um, that technique. And I was the last to believe it, but I just love it and keep making cards with this. So I hope you'll think about the masks when you're looking at placing an order with Stampin' Up. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be your Stampin' Up demonstrator and help you make cards at home. I love to make cards. I love to share cards. Make sure, let me switch this. Make sure that you're sending cards. You can't hoard them, even though they're beautiful. You've got to send them to people so that it will make you happy sending them and it will make them happy receiving them. So mail some cards this week. Let people know that you're thinking of them in the midst of winter. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday night, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.